Have you ever been in a meeting where someone said, this can break or make the project? And you were like, what does it even mean? Well, if phrases like this, break or make the project, have you scratching your head, right? You don't understand them. You are in the right place, because today we're speaking about top 10 English phrases that every tech professional must know. The kind of phrases that will instantly make you sound more confident, more professional, and more clear. Hi there, I'm Anna Contributor, your English and Effective Communication Coach, and this is English for Tech Professionals, the go-to channel for you to level up your language and career skills in the tech world. I post new videos every Friday, so hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you don't miss a single tip, all right? And while you're here, I want you to drop a comment. I want you to tell me what is the most confusing phrase that you have ever heard at work or in life. Let's decode it together. I'm ready to drill down on the phrases for you. Let's jump in. Okay, so let's start with the common one. Let's circle back. It's a corporate speak for let's revisit this topic later. For example, we don't have time for this now, so let's circle back after lunch. It's perfect for keeping meetings on track without shutting down ideas. Phrase number 2, drill down into something. It means to go deeper into details of something. For example, you can say, can we drill down into the metrics for user engagement? So as you understand, drill down into something means let's analyze the details. And I think you have been using this phrase, let's analyze the details. Now you can say, let's drill down into details, or let's take a closer look at something. By the way, even though we use the word drill in this phrase, no actual drilling is required unless you are debugging at 2 a.m. And I'm sure sometimes you do that. Alrighty, now phrase number 3, bandwidth, right? This is a fancy way of asking if someone has the time or resources to do something, right? Bandwidth, right? For example, I'm sorry, I don't have the bandwidth to take on another project. This is a go-to phrase for you if you don't want to take on another project. Now, if the word bandwidth feels too technical for you, you can say, I don't have the capacity, or I'm too busy right now. I'm too busy right now is going to be very simple, right? But this is actually a polite way to set boundaries while sounding professional. Phrase number 4, one of my favorite, low-hanging fruit. A low-hanging fruit refers to the easiest task or the easiest goal that can be achieved quickly, and you want to start with that. For example, you can say something like, let's tackle the low-hanging fruit before addressing larger challenges. Now, if this idiom doesn't make sense, think about it in a different way. Imagine you need to pick apples from the tree, right? And of course, you're going to start and pick the apple that is low-hanging fruit, right? That is hanging low, that is the closest to you, right? So you're gonna start with the low-hanging fruit before you decide to climb up the apple tree to pick up the apples that are hanging high. Are we on the same page? Are we on the same page means, do we all understand this the same way, right? Do we all understand each other the same way? For example, before we deploy, let's make sure we are on the same page about the timeline, right? This is an example. In other words, it means let's make sure we agree. This phrase is great to use when you want to avoid misunderstandings, and you always want to avoid misunderstandings, of course. Phrase number 6, it's a work in progress. When the project isn't quite polished yet, it's not ready yet, you can say it's a work in progress. For example, you can say something like, the design isn't finalized, it's still a work in progress. Alternatively, you can say it's not finished yet, but I'm working on it. Instead of saying it's not finished yet, but I'm working on it, you can say it's a work in progress. Please don't judge me. By the way, pay attention that this is a fixed phrase, right? It's a work in progress. And make sure you use the article a before work, which is unusual, right? Because work is usually uncountable. Job is countable. That's why we say a job. But we don't usually say a work. But in this case, we do say it because it's a fixed phrase, right? So it's a work in progress. Make sure you remember that. If your meeting's running late, use the phrase, let's take it offline, or let's take this offline. It means let's discuss it privately or later. For example, we're short on time. It means we don't have the time. Let's take this offline and circle back tomorrow. Circle back, remember this phrase from the very beginning of our video? I hope you do. So in other words, let's continue this conversation later. Now, this is a very professional way to manage your time and to keep the meetings focused, right? So use it in meetings. Phrase number 9, actionable insights. Now, the phrase actionable insights might sound like a buzzword, like everyone's using, and it doesn't really make any sense. But it's just super useful, to be honest, and it means useful information you can act on. For example, the analytics gave us actionable insights on improving user retention. Now, if you are unfamiliar with this phrase, actionable insights, think of it as helpful conclusions that lead to action, right? It's all about turning data into results, right? So use actionable insights to turn data into results. If you need to politely say it's not happening, use the phrase push back. For example, the team might push back on such a tight deadline. Tight deadline means short deadline, right? Short notice deadline. In other words, they might not agree. It's a diplomatic way to anticipate or express disagreement. And finally, phrase number 10, let's sync up. Let's sync up is just a cooler way of saying let's meet and align. Let's meet up, let's have a meeting, right? For example, let's sync up tomorrow and finalize the user flow. If this phrase doesn't click with you, you might actually already know the phrase, let's touch base or let's check in. Do you know these phrases? Let me know in the comments. All of these phrases, let's sync up, let's touch base, let's check in, they are all a great way for keeping teams connected and organized. So feel free to use any of those phrases. These phrases and idioms might sound strange at first, but they are essential tools to sound like a confident professional communicator in the tech world. Trust me, start using them and your clients and colleagues will love you. I promise you. So now it's your turn to talk to me. Tell me, which phrase are you excited to try in your next meeting? Or maybe there is a phrase that you've heard but you don't fully understand. Let me know in the comments and I will help you out. And of course, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it. Don't forget to share it with your friend or colleague. Until then, keep learning, keep coding, and keep thriving. You've got this.